Hello everyone. Today we are going to see an introduction on Perl programming. Perl stands for Practical Extraction Reporting Language. It was written by Larry Wall. The general purpose, high level, interpreted and dynamic programming languages which runs on Windows, Unix, Linux and Cygwin. Cygwin is nothing but a framework to run Linux-like commands on Windows platforms. Perl also supports Unicode. Perl takes features from many languages like C, BASIC, Stream Editor SED, and awk. So it is fast and easy text processing and file handling capability, and it works with HTML, XML, and other markup languages, but it is not suitable for number crunching problems. So it is too slow for number crunching, but it is ideal for prototyping. So this is a sample program. The first line stands for the path of the binary file of Perl, and this is a statement. You have double quotes and then /n and semicolon, which resembles a C program. So type this program using an editor like VI editor or a notepad and save it with the extension .pl. Here I am saving it with hello.pl, and in a Linux environment you just give an executable permission using change mode a+x hello.pl and then execute the program ./hello.pl. These are all the examples of numerical literals, and these are all the examples of string literals. Here you can use a scientific notation small e or capital E. Here you can see that instead of comma I can also give an underscore. In string literals, the 0 or more characters enclosed by a double quote or a single quote. If you are enclosing it with a double quote, then in the middle you can have a single quote like this. You can have a /n, and this is a 0 length string. This is another string enclosed by a double quote. There are three types of variables in Perl: scalar variable, array variable, and hash variable. All scalar variables must be prefixed with the $symbol. Array variable must be prefixed with the @ symbol, and percentage is to be used for the hash variable. So whenever you see a variable, you can easily find out whether it's a scalar or an array or a hash type of variable. Apart from these three types of variables, you have file handle, standard in, standard out, and standard error. You can see that they are all written in a capital letters. To stands for standard input file handle, output file handle, and error file handle. In Perl, you need not declare the variable, but it will be decided at runtime. Suppose you have that value 5 assigned to a variable, then this variable will be taken as an integer variable. Suppose you have a string assigned to a variable, then this variable will be taken as a string variable. So equality operators for strings will be EQ, and for not equal to you have to use NE. Similarly, for numerical operators you have to use a double equal to sign. To check whether they are not equal, you have to use a exclamation equal to sign. So you have different operators for strings as well as for numeric. Here you can see that relational operators. For strings you have to give symbols like this. For numeric you have to give a symbol like this. For strings you have to give a like in words. Here the last one will be less than, equal to, greater than. So here this operator can be used for comparison. So the left operand is less than the right operand, then this operator will give a value -1. If both operands are same, it will give a value 0. If left operand is greater than, numerically greater than the right operand, it will give a value 1. The corresponding operator here for the string is CMP. At, or, exclusive or, negation, shift left, and shift right. These are all the bitwise operators used in Perl. Here you can see that I have given an example. A is equal to 60, B is equal to 13. So the binary format is given here. So when I give an AND operator, it will check the corresponding bit position. If both bit positions are 1, so the result will have a 1. Here 0, 1, so it will be 0. 0, 0, you get a 0. 1, 1, you get a 1. 1, 1, you get a 1. For OR, if any of the operand has got a 1, the result will get a 1. So you can see that 1, 0, 1, 1. Here also you have got 1, 0, 1, 0. So it will be 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. Exclusive OR, if both the bits are same, like 0, 0 or 1, 1, then the result will have a value 0. If the bits are different, bits in two operands are different, then you get a 1 here. Shift left will be left, shifting left, and will be right shift, and this will be the flipping the bits. So A value, here all the bits are flipped. You have got logical operators. Suppose you have got A, B, true, false value. So when you give an AND operator, it will give a false. So the AND operator works like this. If both the operands are true, the result will be true. On all other cases, it will be false. For OR operator, if any one of the operand is true, you get a true value. Not will be the reversing the logical state of the operand. Some more operators are given. UC for converting to uppercase. UC first will convert the first character to uppercase. LC will be lowercase. LC first will be converting the first letter to lowercase. This will be the repetition operator. This operator will repeat the right operand 3 times. So the number of times you have to repeat will be given as the right operand. The character to be repeated will be given the left operand. So this will give it as 3 hyphen. Next one will be the range operator 2 double colon 5 within parenthesis. This will give 2, 3, 4, 5. Starting value, final value, it will be incremented by 1. Numbers and strings are interchangeable. We have already seen Perl decides which is the type of the operator, type of the variable. If it has got a number, then it will take it as a number or a string. So if a scalar variable looks like a number and Perl needs a number, then it will be considered as a number. We'll see with an example. You have got a is equal to 4, so it's a number. The next one will be $a plus 18. So the 4 will be substituted here. You get 4 plus 18, 22. Next variable b is equal to 50. It's a string data, string operand. So here you can see $b minus 10. Even though it is a string, it will be considered as numerical data, and 50 minus 10 will be executed, evaluated, and you get a value 40. We'll see some more examples. Hello dot double quote some space and then world. So dot will be the concatenation operator. So the result is hello world like this. Now you can see that hi there dot to dot world. So this is a string. This will be treated as a string even though it is a numerical data, because here you have got a concatenation operator. So the 2 will be treated as a string literal. So you get hi there 2 worlds. Now the interesting part is in this line. We have got within quotes 5 plus 6. This is a string literal plus 6. So now Perl requires a numerical data. So this string literal will be considered as a numerical data. So 5 plus 6, 11. And x slash n. So it will be printed in one line. So since it's a slash n, the rest will be printed in the next line. And then in concatenation 3 plus 2 within quotes. So within quotes you are given a string, so it will not be considered as a numerical data, so it will be printed as it is. Then here you can see that dot within quotes 3 plus within quotes 2. Both are string, but since you have got a numerical operator here, automatically 3 and 2 will be considered and it will be added. You have got 5 baskets. Another example, the scalar variable. As I told you, it will be preceded or starts with the dollar symbol. They do not have to be declared. The type need not be declared. So it's a numerical data. Now it contains a string data. $I and $j. So here the value will be substituted. You get 1 and 2. Here you can see that $k is equal to $i plus $j. Even though it is a string, as we have seen already, it will be taken as a 1 plus 2, 3. So $k 3 value will be printed. Now I'm just concatenating. So $i, even though it is numerical, here it will be considered as a string. So it will be concatenated. You have got 1.2, that is 12. Next is the same thing, $k/n within double quotes here, it's a single quote here. But when I have a single quote, I get it as it is. But when I give a double quote, the value will be substituted, the variable is substituted with the value and gets printed. So here another example, A, B, apples and bananas, here it's a concatenation. If I give it in single quote, it will be printed as $A and $B. If I give it in double quotes, then that value will be printed. This concept is called as variable interpolation. So if I enclose a variable using a double quote, then this double quote, the variable will be replaced with the value. So name is equal to Larry. In this string, the name will be replaced with Larry. If I give it in single quote, this name will not be replaced but it will be printed as it is. Like variable interpolation, we have got character interpolation. You can have /n/t or /r inside a double quote string. So it will be printed, new line. It will be treated as a new line, tab or carriage return. You have one more interesting variable, $_. So you may have to process any string repeatedly. So instead of having it with a variable name, you can store it in this $_ which stands for current string. If a subject is omitted, automatically $_ that is current string is assumed. See, this is an example. I'm just trying to check whether this sentence contains the word under. This is a matching operator. So in sentence, I am trying to find out whether this under is there. Instead of specifying it like this, I can just assign the sentence variable to $_, that current string. And then here I can just say if within parenthesis /under. I am not specifying this $_ or this sentence. Here it will be implicitly assumed the current string. Now we will see the next type of variable, that is array. So array variable is denoted by the @ symbol. See, here you can say this is the way of assigning the array. @array is equal to Larry, Curly and Mo. So you can access the whole array using this print @array. So the whole content will be printed, Larry, Curly and Mo will be printed with no space in between actually. In C, you have to write a for loop or a while loop to repeat all the elements and then print it. Here, Perl takes care of printing the entire array. The Perl array starts with 0. To access one element of the array, we have to use this $ symbol. Why? Because every element in the array is a scalar. This is a scalar. If you are assigning it to a variable, it's a scalar. This is a scalar. This is a scalar. Here you can see that I am trying to print that first variable, first element. So $array of 0, then the first element will be printed. There are only 3 elements. This will have an index 0, this will have an index 1 and 2. Suppose I am trying to print $array of 3. It will not give an error, but it will be taken as a 0. See, here you can see that @food, I have got 3 data elements here. I can just print it using like this. Now I can just append some data with this already array, meat @food. So the @food content will be appended with meat and will be stored in another variable. So this is a multiple assignment. So here 5 will be assigned to A, 10 will be assigned to B and 20 will be assigned to C. You have one function called split, which takes a string and splits into parts. So here you have to give a delimiter, Cain : Michael : actor : something. So this variable I'm just applying it on the split function. So here this variable content will be split using the delimiter colon. So it will be assigned to a array. So the first element of the personal will contain Cain, and the second element will contain Michael, third element will contain actor, and fourth element will contain 14 Leafy. Instead of colon, I can also specify a semicolon. Here Larry, Curly, Mo all separated by a semicolon. In that case, first element will have Larry, next will be Curly and Mo. You can also split into characters. If I have not specified anything here, automatically this will be split into characters and will be stored in that array. Here you can see the 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm just splitting it on colon. So you get an array with these 4 values. We are going to see the next variable type, that is associative array. It is similar to an array, but it is prefixed by a percentage symbol. It's a key value pair. Here keys are used instead of subscripts. In an array you use subscripts and you are enclosing it with a square bracket. But here it's key here and you have to use it curly braces here. The keys and values can be any scalar variable. Keys are always converted to strings. So this is how we define an associative array. You just give a parenthesis and give all the values, all pairs of values. The first will be considered as a key. This is the value. Key, value, key, value. If I want to print it, you can see that I'm just using $data John. Here you can see that I have given a curly braces. In array we will be using a square bracket, but in hash we are using the curly bracket. Here the same thing is prefixed with the slash just to take the special meaning of. So $data of John will be substituted with the value, but if I prefix it with a slash, then it will be printed as it is. So the result will be like this. Since I have given a slash here, the data is printed. Here the value is printed. You can also take a value like this, $data Lisa. So the 30 will be stored in val. This is another way of assigning an associative array. We can use an operator like this. Apples red, this is one pair. Bananas yellow, another pair. Next pair. Cherries and red, third pair. I can also change the value. Fruit, bananas returns a yellow. Suppose instead of yellow, I want to give a green. I can just assign it like this. I want to delete a particular element. Then I can give delete $fruit of bananas. Here I have said, as I have said, this hash array can be converted into an ordinary array. And either you can convert it fully or you can just take only one or two. You can use a slice and then you can put it here. So the values of apple and cherries will be taken and will be stored in that array. So if you want to take all the key values of that array, then you can give keys percentage fruit. If you want to extract all the values, then you can give values percentage fruit. You want to see the size of the hash, then I can say at keys. At is an array, this is an array, and that will be stored in the size. Now we'll see some of the program snippets to try. We'll be doing this using an online interpreter. I just take a copy of that, go to the online interpreter, paste it here and I execute. It takes some time. So the UC is for the uppercase, UC first is for the first letter uppercase, this X is the repetition character and this is the range operator. Now we'll take the next one. I have pasted that, now I am executing it. A is equal to 3, B is equal to 15. I am using an AND operator. So the 3 will have a 0, 0, 1, 1. 15 will have the value all ones. So when I give an AND operator, you get the last two bit positions. And if I give an exclusive OR, it will be 12. And the comparison, since 3 is less than 15, I get a -1. Suppose I just change this to B and try to execute that. Now it must give a value 0. Next will be the shift left. So 1 is shifted 1 times, I get a 6. Here you can see that the comparison operator is 0. Now we'll take the third snippet. And I'm executing that, defining an array 1 to hello, and then I'm trying to print that. So here the data will be printed as it is, 1 to hello with no space in between. If I want to specify space, I can use this join function. I can say within double quotes some space. So all the elements will be separated by a space and then it will be printed. I'm just storing it in a str and then I'm trying to print it. Here you have QW Monday, Tuesday, some 3 dots, Sunday. Here this is one way of populating the array. So I must have specified Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So here it's an example to show that the string is truncated into words and stored in this at days. So here you can see that I'm just joining it using the hyphen and printing it. So I get Monday, Tuesday and 3 dots and Sunday. Now we'll see the next example. Example for hash array. I just copy this and putting it here. I'm executing that. Okay, so this is one way of defining an hash array. England, France, Spain, China, Germany are the keys. English, French, Spanish, Chinese, German are the values. I'm trying to add an entry. So by giving $Langs Italy is equal to Italian. This is the name of the hash. This is a key. This is the value I'm adding. And I'm trying to print that. Keys percentage Langs. Here you can see that the keys are printed as it is. That may not be in the same order in which we are specifying the hash. Since there is no space in between, I'm just using this join to give a space and trying to print it here. This is how we are delete $Langs. After deleting, the China and the corresponding value will be removed. And then I'm taking the keys and printing it. Here you can see that this China is not here. So with this, I'm completing the introduction on Perl. In the next video, we'll be seeing the loops in decision-making statements and loops in Perl. Thanks for watching.